I'm back because my free software, because I'm all about free software, only records for 10 minutes. So I'm going to have to figure out a better solution to the screen capture method. Gotta talk to all the people I know who stream and figure out what they do. Probably something cool. But that was an okay place to stop. We kind of stopped with, what about things that don't need oxygen? So we reviewed some photosynthesis in the last video. We learned about what respiration is, our type of respiration, aerobic, that requires oxygen. And then I just sort of said, what about things that don't need oxygen? Well, let's find out about those kinds of things like bacteria. And I had also said, don't say fish. Fish do need oxygen. And you might be like, Miss Huff, you're dumb. They live in water. They don't need oxygen. I might be dumb for other reasons, but not for this one. Fish do need oxygen. Their gills pull dissolved oxygen out of the water. So water in the ocean or water in a pond has oxygen dissolved in it. Well, how and what does that mean? Like, think about if you make Kool-Aid, you can dissolve the sugar and the Kool-Aid mix in the water. That's dissolved. But that's not oxygen. That's like a powder. How do you dissolve oxygen into water? Well, think about something like Pepsi or Dr. Pepper. So you have pop soda. When you open it up, it goes psh, and then you have all the bubbles that come out of it. Well, that's a gas that's dissolved in the liquid. So there is oxygen dissolved in water. So fish use oxygen. They are aerobic like us. Things that don't need oxygen, an example, are some types of bacteria. We call them anaerobic. Okay, so not using oxygen to make energy is called anaerobic cellular respiration. And actually, you can do this for a very, very, very short amount of time. And there are two types of this anaerobic respiration. They're both referred to as fermentation. The kind you can do is this kind, lactic acid fermentation. So imagine you're working out really hard, getting strong and swole, like me, as you could clearly tell. And your muscles are starting to get really fatigued and tired. You're working really hard and you're breathing heavy, but maybe not enough oxygen is getting to your muscles. Well, your muscles aren't just going to give up right away. They're going to try to keep working. So they're going to switch from aerobic respiration to anaerobic respiration. They're going to desperately try to make energy for you to keep going without that oxygen that you need. So they're going to produce kind of this waste product called lactic acid that your body needs to kind of clear up before it can kind of go on. So it's inefficient and only makes 2 ATP. It's not that many. It's some, but it's not really that much. A lot of times people will say, oh, that burning you feel in your muscles or that cramping is caused by lactic acid, but some people say, no, that's not true. Some people say, yeah, it is. So you can try to think of it like that, so maybe it'll help you remember. The other type, you can't do this, is called alcohol fermentation. The kind of creatures that do this are things like yeast, which are used in making bread or making alcohol, fermenting foods. So they don't use oxygen. They take in sugar and they turn it into alcohol, like literal alcohol. And if you look up, be careful what you're looking up. But if you look up how alcoholic drinks are fermented, you will see that a living creature like yeast is used in this process to ferment whatever ingredients that you have and turn it into alcohol. And that's why different alcohols exist and they taste different, which you will not know until you turn 21. Please and thank you. Okay, please. Hey, do you want to learn a weird science thing? Well, if you didn't, you're going to. Okay, so the chloroplasts and mitochondria are the only organelles that replicate, which means copy, on their own. So they're not directed to copy. They just do that when they feel like it. So the word for that is kind of autonomous. They have their own DNA that's different in your mitochondria. That's different from your DNA. Like the DNA in my mitochondria is the same as my mother's and her mother's. Interesting. And it's not the same as my DNA. And they're about the same size as a prokaryotic cell. So remember, prokaryotic bacteria cell, they're smaller than our cells. They also, which I didn't write down here, but you can kind of see, they also have a double membrane. They have two membranes around them, which is very odd. So scientists think that the chloroplast and mitochondria were originally free-living creatures that some larger cell engulfed and did not digest. Instead of digesting it and breaking it down, it's like, wait a minute, this mitochondria thing is making lots of energy. I'll just hold on to it and I'll get some free energy. And the little mitochondria guy was like, I didn't get eaten, and now I'm safe from being eaten by other things. I guess I'll stay here. Same thing with chloroplast. Something ate it and was like, wait a minute, this little green thing is making food for me. I'll just keep it. I won't digest it, and I'll just get free food. And the chloroplast got protection. So you can think of that. Originally, it was probably a symbiotic relationship where one offered either energy, mitochondria, or food, chloroplast, and the bigger cell offered protection. Now, literally billions of years in the future, we can't, like for us, we can't live without a mitochondria, and mitochondria can't live without us. So it's like an ultimate symbiotic relationship. It's like the ultimate end. It's part of us now. So that's kind of weird and kind of neat. It's definitely worth Googling or looking on YouTube for other information about it. It's called the endosymbiont theory, and I think it's definitely worth you looking into. It's very interesting. Okay, well, that's part 2 of our respiration video series here on Miss Huff's channel. I know, I miss you guys too. I'm just getting kind of weird being here by myself. All right, well, I hope I will see you soon.